Down payment requirements, typically, I mean, we can go from anywhere 0% on USDA, 3% on conventional, all the way up to 20% down on conventional, depending on credit scores and the type of program that we can get qualified for. This is a down payment, can come from your checking, your savings, gift funds from relatives, can come from your retirement account, but I would caution against that because you don't want to withdraw early, pay penalties on that. It can't come from your backyard in a mason jar. It can't come from your mattress. It can't come from the safe in your house. It has to be sourced funds from your account and for at least 2 months to be considered as qualified funds for down payment. One of the biggest misconceptions of down payments on a mortgage is the 20% down. That's not true, because we've got 0% down, we've got 3% down, we've got 3.5% down, 5% down, all the way up to 20% down. That'll just be depending on your credit score and basically what program you want to choose. Another misconception as far as down payments is the lower the down payment, the better on the first-time home buyers, which is not necessarily true. If you have a good down payment, I recommend putting it down because you'll go in with more equity if you want to sell it in the next 5 years, which most people that buy their first home, it's not going to be their forever home. So you want to have some equity whenever you go to sell that house to get your bigger house when your family grows or whatever the case may be. Lowest interest rate's not necessarily always the best. Depends on the loan program, because if you're paying a low interest rate, sometimes you're paying a high mortgage insurance premium, such as FHA, whereas on a conventional you may be paying a little bit higher rate, but the private mortgage insurance is going to be a little bit lower, so you have to look at payment rather than interest rate on some of the loan programs. Upfront costs you want to be prepared for is going to be your down payment, your closing cost, and any escrow that you might put in there, which would be your taxes and insurance, which is included into your payment. Those are some of the biggest things that you want to be prepared for when preparing to purchase a house. Something else you need to be prepared for is maybe any moving fees, utility hookups for water, electricity, things of that nature. Closing cost ranges on a typical mortgage anywhere between 2% and 7%, depending on the lender and if the seller is going to pay any of your closing costs or if you're going to be responsible for all your own closing costs. Points on a mortgage, when they're talking about points, they're talking about basically an origination fee, or 1 point basically equals 1% of the loan amount. So if you have a $150,000 loan amount, 1 point is $1,500. So some of the cost included in the 2 to 7% is going to be what they call points, or an origination fee. Basically, a point is 1% of the loan amount, so each point equals 1%. Most loans do have a 1% origination or 1 point origination, and some don't, depending on if you want to eliminate the origination or the point with a higher interest rate, or if you want to increase your points and buy down your interest rate. Also included, the things in that 2 to 7% are going to be things like appraisal fee, which typically you have to pay up front. It can range anywhere from $450 to $650. Survey fee, if the seller doesn't already have a survey, an existing one that's acceptable by the title company and the lender, that's something you're going to account for as well, and those just range differently depending on how many acres or how big the lot size is, and who pays for that, whether it be the seller or the buyer. I mean, another cost that you want to be conscious of is the escrow collection for the taxes and insurance. You'll have to pay 12 months insurance premium up front to the insurance company, plus 2 to 3 months cushion for your escrow in order to ensure that you have enough in your escrow to pay whenever the insurance renews and when the taxes are due.